we're going to do a little bit of a setup. Dee and I will share obviously a bit about who we are and why we're here. We know some of you personally, but a lot of you are new faces. So we'll share a little bit, and then we're going to dive into really looking and exploring through reflection. We're going to give you guys some frameworks and some questions for you to get some clarity around, you know, what is it you're doing, who is it you're serving, and how do you best communicate that, right? To obviously gain the impact and the clients and the amazing people that you want to be working with. So, and then at the end, you know, we'll share how you can work with us if you want to do that. We've got some alumni on the call, which is awesome to see you. And we've got some people who are joining us in our business accelerator in a few weeks' time. So we can share that at the end of the call as well for anyone who's like, right, I know I need to do some more business coaching. We can jam on that later. So sound good for everyone? Throw your hand up. We in? We all on? All right, team. Amazing. So Dee's going to share a little bit about who he is and why he's here.
Kia ora. My journey started in tech startup land, where I was consulting stupidly large tech startups. It's way over my head of imposter syndrome 101. You don't know anything about imposter syndrome until you're broomed onto a stage to talk about blockchain when you just learned about it a week before. That's sort of the space I found myself in. And when I was sitting across from a tech startup, a tech founder, and throwing marketing strategy at them, saying, oh, we need to optimize your website and we need to make sure your customers and all this and that, and focusing so much on the business, and nothing was happening. After 2 weeks working with this client in an accelerator program with $130,000 behind them, they weren't doing shit. And that's when I realized it's not the business, it's not the product, it doesn't matter how many frameworks or consulting we give them, it's their mindset that's holding them back. It's them as a founder not believing in what they're doing. It's them and a founder not believing what they do. So I exited the 5 businesses I was a part of. I sold one of my own companies, and I just went all in on personal development, like all in. Spent way too much money on personal development. It's kind of scary. And that's when I walked into the room and met this lovely woman, Miss Bryony McKenzie. And that's when everything started rapidly going. And that's when we saw the massive power of the coaching industry and what is desperately needed in this space to really, this is how we create the change in the world. It's you getting your beautiful minds, your beautiful souls, your people that actually want to make the change out there, helping people's lives. We don't need another fucking app on our phones. That's why I dove fully into this industry, because this is how I believe we're going to make the change we seek to see in the world. Let me help you share some of these frameworks that I've taken from these big startup land and started weaving and incorporating into helping coaches flourish and build amazingly impactful products that essentially sell themselves and impact so many lives. Did I breathe?
My story is a little bit different. So for those who do know, I came from a corporate law background. I knew it was not what I wanted to do, and I went really deep into personal development to find my own answers, which I think is where most people's, you know, coaching journey starts, right? You go and you look for the answers yourself. And I went on a massive personal development industry journey and explored the industry, went to America, Australia, all sorts of places. And I think for me, I then launched Untapped when I was still working as a lawyer. And it was really challenging balancing it all. Can you just throw your hand up if you're still working a job and building your business, just so we've got a bit of an idea? Okay, cool. Yeah, and so it's challenging, right? That transition of like, I think for anyone, if you're on this call, you know this is the work you want to do most likely, or you wouldn't be here. And it's tugging you and it's pulling you, and you're still balancing your relationship and your job and the finances, but you know deep down this is what you want to do. And so for me, that was exactly where I was at, trying to balance it all. I think on reflection now, and I love, you know, sharing lessons and insights, I spent a lot of money as well, and a lot of not that I regret any of it, but I spent a lot of time continually investing in my personal growth and all my certifications and stuff, which was awesome. But about 2.5 years in all transparency, I realized I had no idea how to actually build a business and the business understanding of our industry. And the coaching industry has lots of nuances, and it's service based, and it's all really different to even product or typical business advice out there. So it was a really interesting wake up call for me as someone who just would spend every moment doing personal growth if I could, to realize I've got a gap here, and that is my business acumen. And since working with coaches over the last couple of years and supporting them in business, what we've seen is there's some incredible talent out there in the coaching industry really impact driven and just missing some gaps around how do I market this, how do I message this, how do I get people to sign up for this when I know it's transformational, which is what we're passionate about. We have a community of very impact driven coaches who know that they want to build a proper business from them. We're going to start with a bit of a framework, which is a couple of frameworks actually, which will frame up the session and have some questions following on from those. So the first one we're going to do is what we call the uniquely you, which is you actually understanding a little bit more about the unique gift that you bring. Everyone here know that they've got something unique, something a little bit special, yeah?
Oh, Lauren, come on, put that hand right up.
Yeah. The way that you do things, right? There's millions of coaches out there, we know this, and people get so discouraged because we look out at the market and go, oh, but there's so many more of them. And have you guys heard the concept of 1,000 true fans? It's just this notion that you can literally build a very successful, sustainable business from 1,000 true fans, right? And it really is. If you create raving fans, like a culture of people that want to keep working with you, your business will just keep growing and growing. 80% of our clients are referrals. So the number one thing you can do is create raving fans.
And this is truly, there's only like 1,000 to 100,000 people out there who are your true raving fans. Who here has ever walked into a room? Yes? Walked into a party, walked into an event. Yeah, everyone's walked into a room. And you know how there's some people who you just magnetize to? There might be that attractive person in the corner that, you know, you're like, oh, they're nice. They look good. I can make a baby with them one day, someday. And then there's those people that we see them and they're like us. They're our friends, perhaps, a colleague from work or someone we actually know who have gone there to see. And then there's those people that are just invisible. You ever walk into a room and there's just some people you just cannot see? You're at a restaurant and you kind of look at people, but then your brain just doesn't even care. It just looks at them for half a second and just carries on. This is what I call indifferent. A majority of the human population is completely indifferent to you, and you are completely indifferent to them. They can't see you or hear you no matter how loud you scream. And that's sort of part of why the reasoning why we coach coaches is because we believe that there's only a certain amount of people that can hear Lawrence, they can hear Chelsea, they can hear you. That's why we need to get you into this world. We need to find you, your 100,000 true fans, so you can help them and evolve them consciously, because for goodness sake, we can't do them all. There's too many people, it's too exhausting.
So it's, yeah, really realizing there are people that can only hear you. And that's super, and your message matters and your work matters. Doesn't matter how many other versions of this there are in the world. There are people who literally can just hear you.
And that's science. That's not woo-woo anything. That's anthropology.
Okay, cool. So what we want you to do is just jot down, if you've got pen and paper in front of you, or if you're typing, that's fine.
The first question, just blanketly describe, what do you do? Could be a title, could be I'm a mindset coach, I'm a relationship coach, I'm a consultant. Now, what if I were to add a little word in there that will really expand this and say, what do you really do? At the end of the day, what are you really helping these people achieve? For example, rather than a mindset coach, it could be, I help people create the freedom they need to express themselves with the people they love. That's what you really do. Being a personal stylist, perhaps you really help people step out the door every day with confidence.
Oof, let's go on. Grab that, Mads.
But what do you really do? At the end of the day, rather than some descriptive title that has no emotional pull, no emotional value, what do you really do? Really, really, truly, truly.
And this is a really important thing. When people ask you, what do you do? It's so quick to be like, I'm a success coach, I'm a personal stylist, right? And in that moment, the moment someone asks you that, you become either relatable or unrelatable, or they can't actually get any understanding of what you actually do from that comment. See that? I'm a business coach, right? It doesn't actually mean anything to people. So what we want to practice is this. Well, literally the next time you're at a networking thing and someone says like, what do you do?
You go, you know how some people really struggle with clarity and where to focus their business and energy? Well, we have a 10-week program that does just that. And we help people create impact and income from what they know.
And that's how you want to introduce yourself.
If you want to refine it a little bit more, it's essentially, you know how people, and you write the problem, and then you just write exactly what you do, the boring bit, you know, I'm a stylist, and what that creates for them is confidence every time they step out the door, just because that's examples still in my head. Now, this week framework, put it everywhere. Put it as your email signature, put it as your little bio thingamabob, just put it everywhere rather than I am a mindset coach, facilitator, trainer, author, speaker. What?
It's just a quick shift, right? And this is all language, because basically what we're doing here, we know our work's transformational. Most of you know, I know some of you guys personally, you know you've got incredible offers, you know you've got incredible work. A lot of this is also about communicating that to the world, right? In a way that actually makes sense to them instead of in a way that makes sense to us. Yeah, and we've got it, and that's what we've got to learn how to be able to market, called the Pvg Framework. And this frames everything. So when you are communicating how you work with people, these are just the 3 things you go through, right? Because we get obsessed with the root cause of what our clients are going through, or we get obsessed with our products and our programs. And actually, all we need to understand is these 3 things, right? Pain, vision, and what's the gap. And the more clearly, number 1 issue for coaches is obscurity. People are not clear what it is you do and how you help them because you speak in a foreign language that you have been learning in the personal development industry for however long.
It's your limiting beliefs from your inner childhood wounds that happened when you were 7.
Come
work with me now and I'll clear yours for you. What?
That's language we learned later. That is not what we necessarily would have signed up for initially. So this is about kind of unlearning a lot of the crap that we've learned.
And your ego will not want you to do this. Your ego will go, no, I'm a limiting beliefs coach. I'm a mindset coach. I've done this. This is what I do.
I'm way more significant.
I'm spiritual as fuck.
But this is about simplifying. So your client's like, boom, I know Alexa can help me with this. Amazing. I'm calling Pierre. He's the guy who coaches on people on this, right? It's being that top of mind coach on the thing instead of all these significant language and stuff that we start to learn, right? And we have to unlearn it. So first one is, what is your client's biggest pain?
The one singular pain to start with. I know they've got many, but just the pain.
What is keeping them up at night? And think about your client's language here, not what you think the problem is.
And if you've never worked with a client, hypothetical, just pick one person in your life you know you could help. Perhaps it's that sibling that doesn't want to quite work with you, or perhaps it's that friend you know that could do a little styling upgrade. We could stop there, and there'll be some pretty compelling insights on who you serve and how you can help them, right? If we can speak that language to them. And what I encourage you to do, this may sound a little morbid, but I want you to feel this in your body, just know how important it is I want you to twist the knife. You've stabbed someone lovingly and said, hey, I know your deepest pain. Ka-cha, you can't orgasm and you can't drop into your body during sex. Now I want you to twist the knife. And what is the cost if they don't do anything about it? What is that really costing them in their life, in their love life, in their work, in their relationships, in their long-term future? 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now. If they don't find their dream job, holy shit. You could end up with a dead-end salary and a dead-end job 10 years from now thinking, where the fuck did the time go?
Relationships, financially, what other stuff are they spending on, right? When you're trying to solve these problems, it's pretty painful. What else are they spending on? What's it costing them in other areas? So does anyone here struggle to market what they do? Like you're like, oh gosh, here we go. I've got to show up again and sell my offers. Yeah, a little bit. So if you struggle, one of the best things you can do is ground into this. Because it's not about you. And it's not about if you're feeling like it. And it's not about if people like you or if you're spamming someone's newsfeed too much. It's about the fact that these people are going towards this future without your support. So any day I'm like in my head and I'm like, oh, I'm annoying people or whatever, and I've gotten all small and significant about myself, I just get present to this. And that moves me, right?
The number one reason why businesses fail, is that they fall in love with their product. And then all of a sudden, the economy changes. All of a sudden, there's a fucking pandemic. All of a sudden, their ideal customer sort of changes and they try and shove their product onto these people. And they fail. It doesn't work. But if you are the ones who succeed, the 1% of the 1%, what do you think is the one thing different about them of why they succeed? Any ideas? They're not in love with their product. They're not in love with their systems. They're not in love with their team. Well, kind of. They love their customers without any hesitation, and they will do anything for them. They will scrap years of work and create a new product for them that solves their problem. Fall in love with your customer, your clients, the people you want to serve, and you'll forever fly. You'll forever be able to pivot and go with the flow and tap into intuition and easily create for these people because you're in love with them. And if you're not in love with them, maybe get a new client.
So the next thing is vision. Where are we taking them? What's the one outcome, the one thing they want? Their deepest desire, the one thing they want to feel after working with you. If you confuse the customer, you lose the customer, right? So if you say we do all of these things, it's a lot, right? And so we want to find out, even for you, Lawrence, or anyone else, you might have multiple results you create for your client, right? Our coach to coach program has so much stuff in it: money mindset training, NLP modalities,
IP creation, marketing, sales, all of it.
All sorts. But what's the one outcome they really want, right? And just to give everyone permission, this also becomes clear over time.
Oh yeah.
But these frameworks are going to help you be listening for and asking better questions to get better answers. For example, who's been my favorite client I've worked with and why? Right? What's that one result? If you look back over your number of clients, and this is what I did when I launched HPW, my women's program, it has lots of multiple results. But when I got really clear, there were actually 3 clients I freaking loved working with, and the result was the same every time.
Which was?
They were all left their jobs.
Yeah.
Not that that's the main thing, but they did, right? They were all moving towards entrepreneurial endeavors. So success leaves clues. So starting to figure out who have you loved working with and what's that one result. Sell them what they want and give them what they need.
I know you've already got this, but let's really cement this. Would you rather line up for 6 hours in a hot, sweaty queue, have someone completely ruin your order, checking in for a flight, you then have to realize your flight's been delayed for another 2 hours, you then have to get on a plane for 13 hours, the in-flight meal is meat and you were vegan, so you couldn't eat for the whole entire flight, and then you get there and you finally arrived at your beautiful destination. Welcome to Hawaii, or Fiji's better than Hawaii. Welcome to Fiji. Or would you rather, hey, do you need a break from work? We have an amazing getaway resort. You can have it all to yourselves. Cocktails on tap, free vegan food, yoga in the morning. Come on over. Sell the destination. Where exactly are you taking these beautiful people? They don't need to know that you're going to do deep inner child healing work, that you're going to fix their relationship, because that's what's really wrong with their business.
Yeah, and it's just like, that's exactly it. It's realizing that people want to know where you're taking them, right? And that's got to be tangible and real and a clear result. You guys know when all the travel agencies sell tickets to Fiji, they don't put like the hot, sweaty seat with the airplane food. Ever notice that? They put the beach, right? They put the destination. And coaches are so notorious that like, we're going to do limiting beliefs and a child, and then we're going to look at your schedule and we're going to, and it's like, no one wants to sign up for that. If you truly know where you're taking people, they don't give a shit what you put in the program, because they trust you and they know you're taking me where I want to go. A, you get where I am, that's the pain. And B, you're going to take me where I want to go. And in all honesty, like, I've signed up for programs where I literally have no idea what's in them. Who else has done that? You just know they're going to take you where you need to go, and you don't really care what's in it.
And you find out a week later, it's
and
like
then
a
you
10-week program.
And you're like, oh, yeah, what is it?
And the calls are at 2 a.m.
But you don't care, you make it work, because they're going to get you the result, right? And the thing is with coaching, people are coming for a result. They are coming for a transformation from A to B on a conveyor belt. So where do you take people from A to B, right? What's the journey you take them on? From the reality they're in to the new reality. And you may not be the coach who needs to take them. Sometimes I think also we've been training for 7 or 8 years or whatever it is in the industry, and we think we need to take them all the way to X. What's the one result that program creates, right? So, yep, drop in the chat. Dee's just putting it there. If you had to choose one result, and this is where the ego gets involved.
Because it goes, Yeah, but how about what if
But I do all these other amazing
I
things.
could easily help them with their money and their balance sheets. I could easily help them build a 7-figure business.
And you can in the program. This is about communicating your offer to the world, right? Once you're in, you can take them wherever you need to go with them to get the result. So what's the one result your program or your offer creates, or working with you creates, if you haven't built a clear program design yet? The one key result.
And please, right now, don't be writing down that question. Write down the answer. Even if you don't know it, just make it up. You know, oh, that's a good question. I'm going to ask myself that later. No, answer it now, because you probably won't answer it later.
Practice the next, like the thing, right? Okay, cool. They've got confidence. What are they going to do with that? That's the question I want you to, like, that question is gold. When I finally got that question in my business, everything changed. I was speaking in riddles, right? That question is really important. So keep practicing that and just notice what results your clients are getting. They're giving you the answers.
A really good stress test is, can I put this result in a wheelbarrow? Can I put a new job in a wheelbarrow? You can think about it, kind of new money. Can I put a new relationship in a wheelbarrow? Yes, you can put a new human in a wheelbarrow. You know, that's a tangible result.
Tangibility.
Does that make sense? And you wardrobe. There you go. I can put a man in a wheelbarrow. I can cut a man.
Awesome. Becomes top of mind. You become the top of mind coach for that result, right? That's how you get asked to speak at speaking engagements and all of these things, because suddenly it's really clear for people what you're supporting people with and why they get them in. Okay.
People don't remember the mindset coach with the blue and green branding on the coastal photo with them with their arms out on the edge. No. So remember emotionally what you do.
What is your offer, right? And not your 55 million versions of your offer. What's the one offer?
The A to B.
Right? To get people from this pain to this vision, where do you take them? Is it an 8-week program? Is it, what have you named it? Some of you guys may not have this yet, and that's fine. If you don't, that's all good. That's a great gap for you to go and fill now. But if you do, would love to hear them. Also, because we're really passionate about building a community of coaches where we're referring people to the right people. So if we actually know your offers, it's a lot easier for us to refer as well. Sure. For those who maybe haven't had enough clients to kind of fully get where that's going, this is to give you frameworks when you're working with them to quickly figure out, when you're on those discovery calls, what is it they really want, right? Like underneath it here, when they're coming to you, of course, they want to be free from the anxiety and they want to be free from the stress. But then when they're in that place, what do they want? People have the answers. You just have to ask the right questions. They will tell you what they want, right? And our job is to get out of our way. They want confidence, they want ease, but what are they going to do with that? This is the most important bit. Who is this landing for everyone? Like, you're seeing, like, oh my gosh, I've been speaking gobbledygook, and like people are actually coming for a transformation in their life. And this is what it is, right? They want the new job. They want their time back. They want great sex. They want to ask for the pay rise and feel freaking good about it. Like, what is the result they want? They want to make more money, right? That's just really getting down to it. And we just have to put our egos to the side. And once they're enrolled in your programs, remember, you can take them anywhere they need to go to get that result, right? And this makes program design really easy. So we're really passionate in in Coach to Coach. We like getting out of the model of selling a one-off coaching session and stuff like that. It really doesn't work for a transformational process. You need to know, where are people, where do they want to go, and what goes in the program based on that transformation. And this is a big, big passion and commitment of Delaney's and I, and the way that we're supporting coaches, is you actually building a curriculum, not just, okay, yeah, let's do another session. Okay, let's do another session. It's really stressful for you as a coach. You're not going to be establishing yourself as a thought leader. You're going to have a bunch of random clients with different problems. And this is about, it's called reverse engineering. What is the pain to vision that we're taking them on? And then what goes in the curriculum and the program to make that result happen? And then you get aligned clients, you get phenomenal testimonials that are like, they did this and we did that, and it's so much easier to run a business with a clear offer. Yeah, and then it's so much easier for you to market, because you're like, I know what I'm talking about, right? You don't have to talk about every little thing, you just have to talk about that pain. So that next piece of the framework is called the gap, which is basically to close the gap. What do you then give them? Right? So there's where they are and where they want to be, and what's your offer that solves the problem. And just so you know, this is also a sales framework. We train all our coaches in proper like sales as service, not creepy sales, which is just literally like, where are you? Where do you want to go? Oh, amazing. My program solves that gap.
Or it doesn't, you should go over here or go over there.
You should go talk to Lawrence or Taylor or Alicia, right? And then we can easily refer people to the right programs and places they're meant to be going.
What I really want to burn in your brains right now is this gap is essentially your conveyor belt. You've got their pains, you've got their vision. So what is A to B that you'll deliver to close that gap? Thinking that literally like a car conveyor belt or built like a manufacturing conveyor belt, are you the sourcing of the iron that then goes into the cast that then creates the engine? Are you the painter? Are you painting all the door frames and every bit? Are you connecting all the electronics? Are you putting in the seats? Or are you the salesman at the end of the factory line? What A to B or C to D are you helping these people on their journey of life?
D's a metaphor man. Have you guys got that yet? I talk in structures,
System,
processes,
framework.
and systems, and D makes metaphors. That's how we roll. Final exercise then. Put it all together. Drop in the chat now. The pain to the vision and the offer or the gap. Until this is clear, they don't know what you do. And they definitely won't give you 3 to 10 grand for it.
Yep.
Right? It's just really understanding this piece is huge for your clients. And this is so important for us to get as coaches, because if we don't, we're not going to fill our programs and create the transformation we're committed to. And these are all a work in progress, right? You go out and test these, just so you know, you put this on your story and then no one's replies. We clearly need to go again.
At least 16 times. Back in the day, you used to put an ad up, be like, buy this soap. And people are like, oh, I should buy that soap. But now with technology and overwhelm and ad bombardment, at least 16 to even 32 times, 36. What's 16 times 2? 32. 16 to 32 exposures now before people will click, oh, what's this? Have you had ads follow you around for ages and then all of a sudden you go, oh, actually, I do need some new Allbirds.
Just to make it really simple in case anyone's like, oh gosh, that was a lot of things. This is how you market. This is how you figure out what goes in your coaching program. This is how you sell on sales calls. It's not weird. It's completely normal. You figure out if they've got the aligned pains, if they've got the vision, and then you offer them the offer.
Are you hungry? Do you like burgers? I make burgers.
This is the framework to your marketing. This is everything.
I actually make tacos. I'm a bit of a taco king over burgers. This is everything.
Amazing.
It's that simple. Isn't that crazy? All this funnel, copywriting, perfect website crap, this is all you need. And you can put a danky personal post out there. You know, are you overwhelmed with all the tasks to do in your business? Do you just want, to make more money and have more impact? Send me a message. I have a program where I take people one-on-one for 10 weeks to transform all of this so they can make more money and make more impact. Look at this post.
And it's really not weird. When you get super clear on this, anyone who struggles with marketing, like I said, when you get super clear on this, it's actually so normal. It's super organic. It's not weird. It's literally, are you here? Do you want to be here? Actually, it's really rude if you don't offer people that, by the way, just so you know, as coaches.
You selfish bastard.
We could say you're stingy cockroaches to our coaches when they don't offer, right? People are hanging out trying to figure out how to work with you.
And you've figured it out.
And
you know how to solve all their problems. You're just hanging out here. Get off here. Go and tell people what you do.
But really, be really clear with people, right? And they don't always need to know the entire breakdown of what you do. It's great to show your modules sometimes and stuff, but we get a bit obsessed with that stuff. They don't necessarily need to know that. If they truly feel like you get where they're in and where they're waking up and what they're praying for at night and what they're Googling, and you get where they want to go, and you know that outcome and result, they'll trust you, right, as well on the process. So really important to be communicating that. And go jump up when you get off this call, go do a post. We just gave you the framework, just follow the framework, right? Or do an IG story or do something and just see what comes back and try to be as clear on the results as possible, right?
When you're writing, your ego might get involved and go, oh, I'll add this and I'll do this. No. Oh.
Simple. Simplicity.
This is the essential bit to focus on. Forget about creating the perfectly slick social media, the perfect marketing funnels, the perfect website, because the medium has always changed for millennia, from print to radio to TV to social media, to algorithms, all that bullshit. But the one thing that does not change is the human psychology. You must focus and master this and just trial and experiment and play with it. It's not super serious. I'm sorry we make it so serious. Let's all take a breath. This is fun. I love this. I love understanding the amazing human beings I'm here to serve.
The first time I did this, I was so frustrated. My ego was like, I know way more than that. And the moment you actually like lock and load on it, everything falls out from under this. When you build a program, it all comes under this, right? When you do social media, it all comes under this. Everything connects to this piece. And this will make life so much easier. Obviously, we do Coach the Coach. It's a 10-week accelerator. We've got some alumni on here. We've got some people coming into the next cohort in April, which is amazing. If you know that you're ready to go full-time and you want to go all the way in your business and you want to get crystal clear on this, and specifically something to note in Coach the Coach is we're really passionate about building out the program design and ensuring you've got a robust transformational program. So if you know you're at that point where you're like, right, I get to become a thought leader, I get to build out my curriculum, that's a huge part of the first 3 weeks of Coach the Coach. Then we move into marketing, sales, and all the other parts you need from that foundation of having a transformational program. DM Delaney or I as well, that's totally fine. And we'll have a chat and a call to see if it's a good fit. It's not necessarily for everyone, because it is an immersive program and it's all go. But if you do want to talk about it, please just reach out. Thank you guys so much for coming along today and for giving your business the space it needs, because it's really easy to get in the business and stay deep in the coaching and all these aspects, but it's also important to zoom out and look at what we're actually creating and work together on that, right? Like we created, it's a lot easier with feedback and with other people's kind of insights than sometimes being in your own head and being like, does this even make sense, right? And then now your job after this session is to go and test it. Jump on your story, talk about the pain, the vision, and then make an offer, right? The amount of coaches that don't make clear offers, it kills me. People want to know how to work with you. Your job is to tell them how.